Okay, where am I? I'm going to try to decide what I want to fix. This is one of the pens I got yesterday in the mail. This is a Eversharp, Wall Eversharp pen made for the Greg Shorthand Company, and its nib is broken. The iridium is missing. It sure is. So the nib needs to be replaced, and it needs a new sack. So I've had this soaking, and probably needs to be soaked a little more. I let soaking do most of the work, and then I apply heat if I need to. But this has only been soaking for a few hours, so we'll put that back in. The broken nib goes with the broken nib drawer. Put that away. Okay. The Greg enameling has come off a little bit, but that's okay. What else do we have here? We have this Esterbrook. Has one of those uninteresting Esterbrook nibs. Oftentimes you'll find Esterbrook's sacks are perfectly good. This one is not, so it needs to be soaked. Esterbrook, no, needs to be resacked. If there was an Olympic sport for section removal, I think I'd get a gold medal. The section tug. See, here's the leftover. Oh, yeah. There's the needs a new pressure bar and a new sack. This is what, when sacks are bad, this is how you like them. You want them to just crumble into dust. You don't want the ones that are slightly gooey, because those are really hard to get out. Because they're just, they are sticky and gummy and gooey. So anyway, that one needs to be a pressure bar and a sack. Okay. This one, what the heck was this anyway? Bankers Pen Italy, and it's broken. So this pen, it's broken in all sorts of ways. So this is going to go in I have at the pen show in Boston, I have a steamer trunk that's full of pens like this that will be $1 each. Though this one may, well, it'll be in there for $1 each. It's a nice pen if it had a section that wasn't cracked, big crack in it, and the thing doesn't want to fill. But other than that, it's perfectly fine. Anyway, it goes into my dollar box, and my dollar box, usually by the end of the pen show, there'll be in the steamer trunk, you know, people are pawing through these things trying to find things that are worth $1, which is sometimes takes a little bit of work. No, they're worth at least $1. But there was a guy that was at the end of the show. I had reduced the price of the pens to 3 for $1. And he came up to me, and people are packing up, and I'm going around saying goodbye to people, and he's in the corner of the room pawing through my trunk, and he comes over with 6 pens, and I say, okay, well, that's $2. And he gives me $2, and then he goes and he puts those 2 pens in his pocket, and he goes back to my steamer trunk again and paws through it. And he comes back 10 minutes later, and he has 3 more pens. So he gives, he comes back with 3 more pens. So he gives me another $1. And I say to him, I said, if you want, you can have the trunk for nothing. Just take it. You're such a good customer. You can take the entire trunk and all of the pens in it for nothing. And the guy looked excited and then went back to the trunk and came back with 6 pens and $2. And I said, I just gave you the entire box and the entire trunk and all of the pens for nothing, and you're coming back and giving me $2 and taking only 6 pens out of it? And he said, my wife would kill me if I came home with that trunk. And I said, well, you can keep it in the garage. Hide it. No. He gave me $2, and I don't know if he went back to the trunk again, but anyway. So I'm going to keep adding to this is going to be added to that trunk. And I'll probably have them for, again, $1 a piece. We'll start with that. I'll have to see what's in the trunk. I've been adding things to it lately. But there's usually something of value in any pen that's in there. It might be a clip, it might be a pressure bar. The pressure bar that is broken that just came out of that Esterbrook. Many, quote, crappy pens have pressure bars that will work perfectly fine in other pens, even pens that are better than the crappy pen that they came out of. So, like this pen here, this is pretty crappy. I don't know who made it or anything about it. It doesn't have a name, tooth marks on it. It looks like it doesn't have a pressure bar either. It's in there, but it's not working. This pen was probably made inexpensively, and this is probably glued into that. So taking it apart would be a trauma. And I have no idea. This is the clip for a pen that someone crammed into this thing. See? This is supposed to be a clip. This would have had a steel nib and otherwise. So this will go in my $1 bin. 2 things. This is worth almost nothing, and I'm charging $1 for it. So, highway robbery is what I'm doing with that particular pen. But don't tell anyone. Someone might want to buy it for $1. The $1 box, the $1 trunk, is always fun because people love looking through things. And one year someone showed me the pens they got, and there were a bunch of them that had gold nibs that got in there kind of by mistake. Well, I mean, they were. I would not have put them there had I paid attention to what I was doing, but sometimes I don't. So this is a Parker 45, and it has a really nice rounded nib on this. This is going to make a lefty happy. He can write his Communist Manifesto Workers of the world unite. Down with the bourgeoisie. This will work perfectly well for a lefty or a lefty, or a lefty-lefty. A lefty pinko, whatever they used to be called. Is this going to work for a lefty? It might, but this other one with the big ball nib would be good for a lefty. Okay, this 51 special which I thought had a broken nib, is actually a very nice unbroken nib. It just was sort of, the tines were glued together, we'll call it, with dried ink, so nothing was going through, but once the ink dissolved, it really has a beautiful little fine nib. Now it's a gold nib, it's a steel nib, not a gold nib. 51 Specials had steel nibs in them, many of which are perfectly fine, and some of these pens had been replaced, the nibs had been replaced with gold nibs, so you always look under the hood. But this one is quite lovely, so that might be a keeper for a while. But a 51, let's say a 51 is, I'm picking a number kind of out of a hat, but let's say a 51 is $100. And a 51 Special probably would be sort of half that at a pen show. But again, people might price, at a pen show you'll have 3 tables, and there's 3 people behind them, and there's 3 identical pens right here. Let's say it's this pen. This person might have it at $50, this person might have it at $20, and this person might have it at, I don't want to say 10. Let's say this person has it at 30. So there's 3 different prices. They're all correct. This person probably doesn't like Parker pens, and has a disease that he has to pay to get medicine for or something, and he's trying to sell it quickly to get money. This guy probably loves Parker 51 Specials, and this person, maybe he wants to sell it to someone that he thinks is kind of cute, and he'll say, gee, well, for you, for anyone else it's going to be $100, but for you it's $30. But anyway, each of these prices is correct. It all, the people that are selling these things have different reasons for selling them and different reasons for pricing them. This one might have, the one that's selling this pen for $50 might have paid $25 to have it refurbished by someone like me, except I wouldn't charge $25 to refurbish it. But if it didn't have a nib and I had to put a nib in it, yes, I would. So he might have $25 worth of repair in the pen that he's selling for $50, and he might have had to pay $15 for the pen, or $20, or who knows what he paid for it. But he adds all of that up, and then when he thinks about the paying for the room at the hotel and the renting the table from the show people and everything else tacked into the prices, that's why it might be $50. But all of the prices are correct. There's nothing, if they're all identical, of course you want to buy it from the $20 guy. But the $20 guy probably isn't going to guarantee that it works. So if you bring it home and it doesn't work, he's not going to give you your money back. Where this guy, for example, might say, oh, well, I'm sorry that it's not working. Let me refund you your money, or let me make it work for you. So there there's a reason why the prices are the way they are. For the most part. And some of the reasons are irrational. We'll just throw that out there too. You know, why is someone charging a lot and someone else is charging a little? It's because maybe the guy that's charging a little doesn't know anything about pens, and maybe the guy that's charging a lot wants to pillage. He would have been, had he been born, 1,000 years ago, he would have been a raper and a pillager, a mercenary, attacking defenseless people in a town. Those kind of people still exist. I'd like to think they are not dealers at a pen show. I'd like to think that we are above that. But there are people out there in the world that want to make money, and they want to make money any way they can. So there may be that. But for the most part, 99.9% of the people you see at a pen show are selling you or providing good quality stuff, unless it's in their dollar trunk. That should give you a clue right there that what you're buying for $1 or $3 for $1 is not going to be guaranteed to work. I'll put that right there. Pen you buy from my dollar trunk, if it works, lucky you, but chances are it's not going to. Look at that great nib. Now this nib, if I were to draw parallel lines like this and measure 1 inch and draw a bunch of parallel lines like this, I bet I could probably get 80 lines in an inch. And you go buy a very fine, extra fine fountain pen at a store today, brand new fountain pen, and their extra fine would probably be like that, where this pen, can produce a line like this. You have to turn it upside down to make that happen, but a modern pen, turn it upside down and you're not going to get anything even that close to that fine, I don't think. Fine nibs are more fragile by their nature and they're more scratchy by their nature than broader pens. And the public today that has never used a fountain pen before will say, oh my God, that's too scratchy. So they never buy it because they don't know the charm about a scratchy nib. Yes, it's scratchy. Deal with it. Okay, done with that pen. What else do we have? Is that big Mont Blanc? Leave that aside. Today, these are 2 pens I'm repairing. I have since repaired for a friend of mine in New York City, and my friend, a different friend from New York City, is visiting me. So he and I will talk about these 2 pens. We'll be sitting side by side at a table, and we're going to be describing the differences that we discover about these pens, mainly about how they write, how the nibs write. I had to replace one of the nibs with a different one, a more correct nib, and I knew that the owner wanted a flexible nib, so he's getting a flexible nib, but I didn't want to have it be identical to the one he had in the other pen, so I picked one that was a little finer on the fine stroke. It's almost equally flexible, but it's a little finer on the fine stroke. And so Andrew, my friend from visiting me, and I will wax poetic, I hope, about these 2 pens. and we'll each be writing and drawing, and you'll see 4 hands, not just 2. And the owner of these pens is a piano player, entertainer, band leader, orchestra leader in New York, and we're going to have some of his music in the background with his permission. So it'll be fun to listen to that while we draw. This is a Waterman 452. It means it is a sterling overlay. That's what the 4 means. The 5 means it has a lever filling system is a lever, and the 2 means a number 2 nib. This one is an 0552, which is gold fill, lever filling, number 2 nib. If it was a 552, this would be solid gold, but 05 was gold fill. So an 0552 and a 452 will be discussed and poetically waxed over. Stay tuned for that. These would not be in my dollar bin. That was obvious, right? See ya.